Hey, what up, what up? How's everybody doing? I'd like to welcome you back into my kitchen again. We are cooking. You know, and I love cooking for y'all. And I love, giving you guys my inspiration and my joys in life. So today we are going to be cooking I keep saying prime, but I keep thinking prime rib, but I'm thinking ribeye steak and some shrimp Alfredo. That sounds really good. Well, that was really good. So right now we are going to season our steak and get that marinated. So I'm gonna go through the process of doing that, and make sure all the seasonings are correct and making sure we're good. So we're gonna start off with some Lowry's seasoning salt, or you can use seasoning salt of any kind. I just use Lowry's in particular. So you want to season both sides of your meat with the even amount of seasoning. You don't have to put a bunch because it's salt, so you don't want to be too salty, but you want to have a good amount of flavor, so you want to have some good seasonings on there. So we're going to do seasoning salt. We did a little Cajun seasoning, we did a little oregano, going to be doing a little bit of salt, pepper, some chili powder, got some, and later on I'll be putting on an herb blend to give it some extra flavor. So right now we're seasoning our food right there. Yep, make sure we get both sides. Yep, and those are some good 10-ounce steaks. So it's a nice size for a good serving. Yep, make sure you season both sides. Onion powder, garlic powder, seasoning salt. Yep, make sure you rub it in. So I like to press mine in, and it helps tenderize your meat as well while you're pressing it. So you're doing two things at once, killing two birds with one stone. Yep. So you want to press in both sides. Make sure your seasonings are fully evenly meshed in there. Yep, that'll help tenderize your meat as well. We're gonna keep it moving. So next we're going to start our herb blend. Yep, so the herb blend is basically a mixture of rosemary, thyme, a little bit of Italian parsley, and some, I want to say it is coriander. Yeah. Rosemary, thyme, Italian parsley, and I think it's coriander. Yep, so I minced that up really, really finely, and then I layer it on there. It doesn't have to be any particular way when you put it on your meat, because it's just going to be for flavor anyway. So you're going to press that in, make sure it's evenly spread around. Some good flavor on that steak. Real good flavor on that steak. Make sure you do both sides just like you did your seasonings. Alright, so now we're going to put it into a Pyrex pan and get our marinade out. So basically I'm going to use some olive oil. I'm going to use Worcestershire steak marinade, and I'm going to use garlic, minced garlic. You want to put a good amount of the marinade in there because you want your meat to marinate in it. So you want to cover up your whole steak. And then I put the foil on it, throw that thing in the refrigerator. So I let it, because I didn't do it overnight, so I let it marinate for about 20 to 25 minutes. But a good marinade probably be to marinate it overnight and then cook it up when you're ready. But a good 20-25 minutes is is a good time to let it marinate. Next, we are going to slide into the basically just prepping our vegetables for our sauce. So I like to use green onions, and I usually just cut them down to the white part. I don't usually use anything past the white, so it's strictly green. And right now we are switching to the shrimp portion, and because you don't have to let those like marinate or anything, I like to cook those straight up. So I got about 1.5 pounds of some fresh shrimp out the deli, or out the behind the counter, and put some butter in the saute pan and let those cook up. Give that a little shake. Put some salt, pepper, a little bit of parsley, a little bit of onion salt, a little bit of garlic powder, a little bit of chili powder, a little bit of Cajun seasoning, a little bit of paprika, a little bit of curry powder. I'm saying a little bit because I don't have actual measurements. It's just like to each his own, however much how much seasoning you want to put in it, But you want to put in just about like a tablespoon of each, just over or just under, depending on what the seasoning is. Salt you don't need a lot of, simply because it's salt, so you can just put like a pinch of salt. But most other seasonings you can put as much as you want, depending on how you want your meal to taste. So throw a lid on that thing, let those cook up, let those simmer up, do the thing. So now we're going to go into the steak portion. I love cooking steak. I love cooking in general, but steak has always been good to me. I have a cast iron skillet that has the grill marks, so it'll help me, cook my steak all the way through without having to worry about flipping it a bunch of times. So for this, I like to marinate it with the rest of the juices. Let that cook into it. So don't pour out your juices from your marinade. That's just seasoning that you're just going to cook over your steak, and it'll add that flavor. Add a little lemon to our shrimp. I just dropped the whole lemon half in there. Let that thing steam up in there, get that nice flavor, nice citrusy flavor. It kills the fishy flavor, so you don't have to worry about eating. You don't have to feel like you're eating fish. You're actually just eating food or protein. Give that a quick shake and let that do its thing. Add some green onions. Give that a toss. Now let's check that steak. See how this steak looks. Cooking up pretty good. I'm gonna flip that thing, see how the other side looks. Beautiful grill marks. No, just the right amount of char. You don't have to worry too much about it being overcooked, undercooked. The fat got cooked really good, so you don't have to worry about that being not cooked. Yeah, just let that cook on the other side for about 5-10 minutes. I like my steaks mid-rare to a medium, so in between mid-rare and medium is perfect for me. So that's what I'm going for, is a mid-rare medium. Yep, and I'll pour the rest of the juice from the marinade onto the steak and let the rest of that cook. And then we will get into finishing our noodle portion and the rest of our shrimp. So I use fettuccine noodles, and I usually just put my noodles straight into the pot and just let them fall. I never break my noodles because I like the long lengthy noodles to get sloppy with. It's more fun. I enjoy it that way. So I made quite a bit of shrimp, so I had to make enough noodles to go with the whole meal. Steak looking good. I'll flip that. And at this point, I believe we're going to take our shrimp off of the grill and our steak and throw that in the oven to let that finish cooking. So in that transition, I made the roux for our sauce. So basically it's just butter, garlic, and a little bit of onion. I put a little bit of seasoning like onion or pepper and salt, just to let that cook in, and then I cook that till it's about like a golden brown, and then I add my heavy whipping cream. So I'll add probably about a cup of heavy whipping cream, if not a cup to a cup and a half of heavy whipping cream. Let that bubble up, and then I add my Parmesan cheese. Let that get nice and cheesy. And I add cheese as I go so that it doesn't get clumpy, or it doesn't burn. The cheese doesn't burn, so I can keep it nice and gooey and freshly melted. So I continue to add cheese as the sauce gets to melting. So we'll add our parsley flakes. We're gonna add some Italian seasoning. We're gonna add some oregano. That's chili powder I'm adding in right now. And we are going to add some Cajun seasoning as well. That's curry powder. And that's our oregano. Mix that in. Make sure it's not burning on the bottom of the skillet. You don't want burnt cheese in your sauce. You don't want to scorch your sauce. So make sure it's in motion. Make sure it stays moving. It's alright for it to sit for a little bit, but don't let it sit for an extended period of time. So next we're going to drain our noodles. And I go straight from the pot into the saucepan. Get your fork technique and just toss the rest of your noodles in your sauce. And that is steak and shrimp Alfredo. It's a beautiful setup. A little garnish on the top. And that's a perfect medium, mid-rare medium. That's what I like. That's how I like my steak. A little white wine. Fine dine. Alright. I'd like to thank you guys for enjoying, or for at least viewing my cooking seminar. I hope you picked up some good tips. I hope you enjoyed the cook. I hope you enjoyed the look of everything. I ask that you come again. Continue to support me by liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing to my YouTube and my podcast. That would be dope. I am the director, the narrator, and the editor. So I'm doing everything, and I appreciate you guys supporting me. I ask that you continue to bless me, continue to pray for me, continue to lift me up, continue to do good things in this world. But I'm glad you guys came out, and I am out.